Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Geeks and Governance. I'm your host, Jordan Norris, and I'm joined by my co host and best friend, Joey Aguilera. Today, we've got a special Halloween episode for you. We're taking a closer look at Shaun of the Dead, Edgar Wright's cult classic that blends horror, humor, and a surprisingly thoughtful take on how people cope when the world falls apart. Before we get started, we just want to say a huge thank you to everyone tuning in. We're still a new podcast, and your support means everything. Every follow, share, and positive review helps us grow and keep these conversations going. So, grab a pint, lock the doors. Let's talk about Shaun of the Dead.
And Shaun of the
Joey,
Dead, we shall talk about. What's going on, Jordan?
how we doing, brother?
Pretty good. I just watched Shaun of the Dead twice in 24 hours, so I would say I'm fairly prepped.
That's really good research on your part, sir.
I have a lot of free time, so you know.
I watched it last night with my fiance as well. It was really good as always. I mean, it's always a pleasure to watch. We had the same conversation, so I think we went through the same kind of thought process when we were trying to watch this movie. It was available for streaming on Peacock with
Right,
a subscription, of course, or you could
that's
rent
true.
it or buy it through obviously so many different options.
Yeah,
You ended up
there's also a
renting it,
third
right?
option, and we're not telling anybody to do this, but you
Sail the
you
seven
can
seas.
find it.
Yeah, you can sail the seven seas and find it, maybe along
You
with a
could
little bit of booty.
a little bit of booty and some treasure, sure.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But I love this movie. I had no problem supporting, whatever whoever the money is going to at this point
Right,
in
yeah.
21 years later.
It is a
I,
great piece
I,
of art.
yeah, I ended up buying it. I'm like, listen, I want it on Ultra HD. I don't want to have to worry about streaming it or something low quality. I just bought it, so we watched it, and now I have it to watch forever. So I'm psyched about that. But my whole point was, I think we had the same process. We're like, well, we could subscribe to Peacock for whatever they're asking, what, $15 a month
Sure.
or something like that nowadays,
Something like
in order,
that.
and
Yeah.
then probably end up having commercials while watching it too. Man, Joey, streaming these days is getting rough, isn't it, bud?
The world of streaming is getting rough. That's a topic for another day. But
Yeah.
it's rough out here. I paid about $4 for the rental of Shaun of
Hmm.
the Dead with
Yeah,
a
I think
48
I
hour
think the
pass.
purchase was like $15.
I might watch it a third time just to get my money's worth.
Yeah, you
To be
got to,
honest
man.
with
You gotta
you,
get you
yeah.
gotta get your money's worth out of it.
I think I'm obligated actually. Yeah. You know what? Then I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna say, oh, I should have said this or I should have said that. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But
Right,
that I guess that brings us to the start of our story anyway. And
right. Shaun of the
and
Dead.
this is where we meet Simon Pegg's character, Shaun, and he's obviously um working a menial job. Life's kind of going nowhere. We find out pretty quickly that he's 29 years old. He doesn't do anything except go to his local pub to drink with his best friend and flatmate. Plays
Ed.
video games all goddamn day. Yeah, Ed has a girlfriend or a fiance. I don't think fiance. I think girlfriend who
Girlfriend, yeah.
is who wants to be serious, but not necessarily with him because he's just kind of a grown man child at this
Right.
point in life, right?
100%.
Um, and we find out pretty quickly that if he tries to make any positive changes, Ed kind of reinforces his childish behavior and mindset.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to playing video games or, hey, let's just get drunk, forget about it,
Right.
is just kind of a big oaf of a guy. Lovable as all hell.
Right.
Gotta say, my kind of guy to drink with, dude. My kind of friend for sure.
Yeah, a great guy to drink
Um,
with, not a great guy to like grow into a better
definitely
person
not to
with.
live with. Yeah.
No, definitely not to live
Um,
with. No.
Right, and we get a look at inside their apartment pretty early on, and there's just beer bottles and garbage all over the place. Um, and that's when he invites his girlfriend out for the night and says, "Oh, we'll go to the pub again." She's like, "Again?" Ah, so she goes anyway. She caves. Um,
Hmm. The
they start
Winchester.
drinking. Yeah, the Winchester, famously. She brings her two friends, David and Diane, right?
Yep.
And the whole time, man, they're getting on Sean's case about all types of things, all of them, all of
Right.
them, very weirdly and comically, actually.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
they have this
like,
great conversation. It kind of opens where Liz is just like, yeah, yeah, Liz is Sean's girlfriend. She's like, I'm just not really happy, and every time we go out, it seems like Ed's with us, and it's not that I don't like Ed, and Ed's right next to her. Ed, it's not that I don't like you, and then
that's
Sean,
fun.
and then it goes it
Yeah,
goes back to Sean, and Sean's talking to her, and he's like, and when we go out, Diane and David are always here, and yeah, it's not that I don't like them. It's that Diane and David. It's not that I don't like you. It's just they have this really funny exchange where it's like, obviously they're
yeah,
not crazy about each other's friends, but they're always kind of just there. Um,
together.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and that's kind of like a thing I feel like in your 20s in relationships when you guys still have friends from college or from high school if you stayed local, and that's kind of something you just have to deal with is like your significant other's friends, whether you like them or not. Hopefully you do. But even if
you're
you
not
don't,
going to.
yeah, but even if you don't, they're that's their friend. You're not really in a position, you're not, who are you to change that, basically?
Right. Yeah,
And that's part of growing up.
absolutely. And yeah, and I think, like, relationships are about compromise to a certain extent. And I don't think in the beginning, and there's a really good full circle moment at the end, the very very end of the movie that we'll get to. But I feel like, as much as he's not willing to grow up and change, she's not really ready to accept him for maybe just a lifestyle he finds more comfortable. You know what I
Right.
mean? Then,
Yeah.
like, not everything has to be about adventures and this and that. However, this does bring me back to the first act here when he says he's going to be making a reservation at the nice place that does the fish.
That
You
does the
know that
fish, yeah.
place? Yeah, the place
Mm-hmm.
that does the fish.
Yeah.
There's only a few of
That one
those.
place.
That one place that does the fish. No other place except that one place. And so he makes this promise. He doesn't do it.
No.
Obviously, he gets totally bombarded at work by his father showing up to his job.
Right.
Right, and he's like, "Don't forget, it's your mom's birthday, da da da, this and that,"
Mm-hmm.
and that leads to his coworker, who's 10 years younger than him. He's 19,
Yep.
um, and he's like, and he's like, "I thought you said no personal calls at work." He's like, "What's your dad doing here?" And he's like, "It's not my dad, it's my stepdad,"
Yep.
and
He's
and
pretty
he's
adamant about that.
yeah, right. And he's like, and I'll have you know, I have no issue separating my private life and my professional life. And then in that moment, somebody pops up with the phone and goes, "Liz calling." And he
Liz calling.
goes, and he's like, he grabs it, and he's still having a stare down with this guy pretty intimately,
Right.
like
So he is not
aggressively
listening to
even.
what Liz is saying at all.
No, and she's like, "Hey, you made that reservation for tonight?" He's like, "Yep." She's like, "Okay, so we're all set then." He's like, "Yep." She's like, 8 o'clock, the place that does the fish. He goes, "Yep." Like, it
Yeah.
couldn't be any more like comedic, man. Just the repetition of it, and he
Yeah.
just guesses her to death, and to his folly that ends up leading to them getting broken up. But a real great I think highlight moment between that interaction with him and his coworker is
Mm-hmm.
that he's like, I'm sure you have things you want to do in your life. I mean, how old are you, 22? And he's like, not 19 or 17 or something. And he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Well, you won't be here forever. There's things you want to do." And he's like, "There's things I want to do in my life."
Mm-hmm.
And the kid goes, "When?"
When? Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is brutal
brutal,
as a
brutal.
29-year-old. And I think one of the things that when you watch this movie as now 32-year-old as I am, like it's weird because
Yeah, I'm 29. I'm the
I'm
age of the
older than
character.
Sean was when
Right.
when the movie's based. But when I first watched this movie, I was a kid. I really couldn't relate to what Sean was going through. I just thought it was funny that he was goofing around with his buddy Ed.
Right. Yes.
But now
We missed all the nuances and
a
yeah,
hundred percent. Now you
the
watch it as
deeper
like someone
themes.
who's, yeah, it's pretty I don't know, it's just interesting to watch and see how you're like, wow, this guy really needs to change. Like he can't just continue living like this. And I think a lot of, everybody needs to wake up and realize like, okay, like whatever I'm doing yeah, this isn't probably something I can sustain for like a lifetime. I probably need to get my act together. I think most people have that
Right,
realization at some
or a
point.
lifestyle, you don't want to be living uh like a stoner alcoholic in his first year of college, you know what I mean, for your
Right.
entire life. Like, you can still get stoned, you can still drink, but you gotta have your shit together.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
To a certain
Moderation. Everything
extent,
in
yeah.
moderation.
Moderation. And what we really see also from the very beginning is this sense of like constant routine. It's like that episode of SpongeBob where Squidward moves to like the nice fancy neighborhood,
Hmm.
sorta, and
Yeah.
he's just starts off and he's just loving it, and we don't even see that part of Sean's life. As soon as we enter it, it's mundanity and it's painfully like simplistic and boring
Right.
kind of lifestyle, like wasted away, um wasted youth, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think
Everybody's
is a
very
big theme.
zombie-esque in how they move throughout their day, even way before any kind of trouble starts to actually arise.
Right, and
Just
that
to
brings
kind of
us
like
to the trouble.
yeah, kind of like just the complacency with which they move and act, and that is pretty much exactly the same as how they are once they do become zombies. Pretty well.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's not
It's
that much of a
it's a
difference.
great opening scene that shot that just shows everybody and through going throughout like a bunch of different scenes, and they're all looking kind of zombified in uniform, and then they do some really good film work in this movie where they show basically the same scene later on, and it's just them, the zombie versions, but it's so similar that it's pretty striking. It's funny, but it's also eye-opening at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good reflection of society at the time. And
Absolutely.
society now. I mean, now it's arguably worse with smartphones and everything else.
Yes.
That
A
kind of
whole
sucks
different kind of
people in.
zombification.
Yeah, yeah. More direct.
Yeah.
But yeah, once they have the breakup, Ed and him go out drinking.
Yes.
They have a they It
Binge
starts off
drinking.
sad. Yeah, he goes, you get hit with the first "I'm sorry" joke.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yes.
Ed's like, he's saying all this stuff about Liz and their relationship and whatever, and then out of nowhere he just goes, "I'm sorry, Shaun," and he's like, "Oh, don't be sorry, it's all right," and he's like, "No,
No, Sean. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry." And he goes, "Oh," and you could just tell like he ripped ass. It's such a quick
Classic.
joke. It's so good.
It's
Oh
classic.
man, it gets me every time.
And he
And
says
it's
that's
also one
terrible.
of Ed's last words. I mean, we'll get
Right.
there,
Well,
but
he every time he goes, "Oh, that's nasty." So stop doing that. He's like, "I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing."
right, yeah, and that's like a really cool. That becomes a really cool callback later on
Yes.
in the film.
Yeah.
Um, But when they're leaving the bar, what I love is they're walking out of the bar and they're singing, "I get higher, baby, I get higher, Lord." And then they walk past this dude and he's like, "Urgh," and he's obviously a zombie already. And
Right.
they're like, "Da da 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 da," and he goes, "Ooh."
But yeah, that was in the trailer
Yeah,
too. That was a great moment.
that was a
Um,
fantastic
yeah,
moment.
that's and there's also a couple behind them who they've
Oh
been kind of like
yes.
up against the bar the whole night, like up against the windows, and they when they pan over after Sean and Ed have turned their backs to him and are walking away, you notice that they're not making out. It's not a couple making out. It's a lady eating a guy, and his head kind of lops off and falls off as they walk away. So
Mhm.
just fun little stuff that's going on in the background that shows you things aren't quite normal in London.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So,
Um, so I think um, what happens the next day? He wakes up in the morning, right, all hungover. He writes himself a note to like grow up.
well, first they
Uh,
get home and they have a huge party. They're spinning
Uh,
records.
oh, you're
Yeah, they're
right.
so drunk and they're spinning records,
Yeah, take it
and
from here.
yeah, they're spinning records, and Pete comes downstairs and he's so mad. Pete's their roommate or flatmate, and he's the responsible one in the house, and he actually has a good job, and he needs to go to work in the morning because everybody's called out. Nobody's able to be there. He has to be to work super early in the morning. He's not happy about it. On top of it, he got mugged on the way home by a couple crackheads. They bit him on the head. And he's really not feeling all that well. So they need to just quiet the hell down and just cut out the nonsense. And he's attacking Ed a little bit, probably deservedly so. And Shaun's sticking up for Ed. That's a theme here. Is he's always sticking up for Ed. That show, that's loyalty to your friend, ride or die, regardless of when they're wrong. You just kind of have that instinct to back them up and defend them. Maybe because they don't have anyone else that will. But that's another just, really friendship. I mean, friendship and relationships are what the world's about. And even in a zombie apocalypse, like that's the thing that people hold on to is the relationships and the friendships. And so he's defending Ed, and they start talking. He's like, we've had some good times with Ed. Remember that time we got totally drunk? We played Tekken 2 all night. He's like, yeah. He's like, that was so much fun. He's like, when was that? He was like, that was 5 years ago. He was
Right.
just like, wake up. He said, wake the fuck up. It's
Yeah,
time to
and
grow
5 years
up.
ago they would have been 24, right?
Right.
So,
So things have
yeah.
changed. It is time to grow up, and obviously they're not doing that. So I think right before Shaun passes out for the night, he writes a checklist, something along the lines of, drop by mom's, get Liz back, because right, Liz is broken up. Yeah, Liz is broken up with his
Yeah.
drop by mom's, get Liz back. What was the third one, Joe? I
Sort
think
your
you had a
life
third one.
out,
Sort your life out. Right,
which is what
100%. Good
Pete
stuff.
says to him.
Sort
Sort
your
your
fucking
fucking
life
life
out,
out,
mate.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's a
line,
hard
man.
hitting
That's a
line.
great line, dude. Yeah. And so,
It
yeah, he and
is.
he stumbles backwards into a chair, passes out, and that's where he sleeps that night.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wakes up the next morning, and he is super, super hungover, right? He needs to go to the corner store and go get some refreshments to come
Oh,
back, to come back
that's one of my
alive.
favorite scenes in like zombie movie history.
Yeah, so he walks out of his flat and across the
Mr.
street, and you
Magoo.
basically see the same opening scene that you saw when everybody's kind of zombified, going through their daily motions, but now they actually are zombies, and Shaun is so hungover and still probably a little drunk that he really is not aware of his surroundings right now. He doesn't realize that the homeless guy is not handing out his hand for change. He's actually grabbing at him, trying to grab him. He's like, I don't have any change, man. I didn't even have change at the store. And
Yeah.
there's a
There's
jogger where
blood.
yeah, there's a jogger in the opening scene that runs by him, and in this scene he's not running, he's sprinting for his life. He goes into the store, and yeah, there's bloody handprints on the glass that he opens to grab something out of the fridge.
Hmm.
He kind of slips on some blood on the way back to the counter, which
Yeah.
is absolutely gorgeously shot. This is all one take. This is all a one take shot. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's so fantastic.
And then he
You
leaves the
you
change on the counter, and he's like, "Oh, I owe you a quarter or whatever."
Yeah, and as the shopkeep kind of comes stumbling around the corner, you can tell he's a zombie as well. That's why he wasn't at the counter this time. And yeah, it's just a beautifully, awesomely shot scene. They go back to the house, and is the news already on that things are going bad? I think it
So
is, right?
yeah, the he's flipping through the channels early in the morning, and as it's going on, you get little snippets of news clips talking about the infection, but you also get some precursors to that in the earlier scenes. Like
Yeah,
when he's working in the store in the very beginning,
the
and he's
homeless
flipping
guy.
through the channels. He's flipping
Oh,
through
that
the
too, yeah.
channels, and everything on the news, he's like news, news, and more news. He's like, we have all these channels, kind of mundanely speaking. And
Right,
what hit me is like the reason that every channel is the news is because there's a fucking international emergency
right.
going on, right? And he's just so oblivious, not even paying attention to it. you
Right,
know.
and to tie that directly to real life, that was a direct. This movie came out in '04, so this is right around when that 24-hour news cycle was really invented. That was a
Right.
direct result of 9/11
Nine
and
11.
international terrorist attacks and really devastating, scary things that were going on in the world. So as a result, back in the day, back even when we were kids, not even talking like our parents being kids, just when we were kids, there wasn't a 20 channel that you could watch literally just news and horrible things and all around the world all day long every day.
Yeah.
There
Every
was,
day.
you had certain blocks of the scheduling that was set. You had your morning news, your midday news, and your evening news, and
Sports,
that was it.
cartoons, all
Yeah.
in between.
So
Yeah.
this shows that, again, it's just a quick example in the movie of how, the news cycle does have benefits to it. If people actually pay attention to the actual information that's being presented, you would actually see that there's an emergency and you should probably get to some safety. But again,
Right.
they don't pay attention to that. There's also the guy, the homeless guy, like in the back, which is also awesomely shot, where he's like kind of stumbling around. You can't really tell if he's, inebriated or under the influence of something, or if he's actually sick or becoming a zombie. Then he kind of stumbles towards like a pigeon, picks it up, and he's about to bite its head off, and
Oh
then a bus
yeah, the
passes by.
bus passes. Yes.
And then when the bus finishes passing by, he's gone. So a lot of weird stuff like that. Sean's riding by on the bus. Everybody's sick and coughing. They're all It's so gross. I mean, it's
Yeah,
such a
it
good,
is.
yeah. It's a really good example of what an outbreak would probably look like. And again, Sean's just completely unaware of his surroundings. Even when he's not hungover, he's pretty unaware of his surroundings to not really pick up on this stuff. I think he a couple things catch his eye, but eventually it just kind of he just kind of brushes over it.
Yeah, and as he's sitting down on the couch flipping through the channels, you don't
Yeah.
even realize what I love about this shot is he walks in from the store, he sits on the couch, he looks around, doesn't see Ed, he starts flipping through the channels, it's nothing but news, and then all you hear is like Ed's voice, and it kind of like made me jump out of my seat a little bit because all you hear is Ed out of nowhere, and he goes, "There's a girl in the garden,"
There's a girl in the
and he's
garden.
like
One of
looks
my
over
favorite
and he's
lines.
like
He's like,
covered with the
"What?"
drapes. And he's like, "What?" Yeah, yeah.
And he
And they
goes,
get up and
no,
oh
he
my
goes, "In the
god.
garden, there's a girl."
Yeah.
It's just one of my favorite lines. I don't know why. Probably because Brits call their backyards gardens, even when there's no garden in there. It's
Right.
awesome. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome.
and there was no garden. There was like a
No,
random metal pipe for a flag,
right.
maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
like an umbrella stand.
an umbrella stand. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get to the umbrella stand because
and a
that's
shed
gold.
and some
Oh my
grass
god. Yeah.
and the girl in the
So
garden.
a girl in the garden. And so they go out there and they try to get her attention and then Ed's like, "Hey, check this out," and he takes like an acorn off the ground, or a walnut or something, and he beams it at her head, and she turns around real slowly, and she's like, and she looks all flushed in the face, like just absolutely hammered. She doesn't have any bite marks or blood on her,
Right.
so she's
But
a
her eyes are
relatively
all
clean
messed
looking
up.
zombie, all messed up. Yeah, she's really
Yeah, like
pale.
her eyes are like that weird. They put these contacts on all the zombies in the movie that make their eyes kind of like a whitish, bluish, almost like a,
Yeah,
yeah, just like a very
soulless hue.
cloudy, yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're like they just start cracking up. They're like, "Oh my gosh, she's so drunk." And they're just cracking up. They're dying and uh she starts staggering towards them, starts attacking Shaun, and Ed's just having the time of his life. He's like, "Oh my gosh, she's really into you, Shaun." And Shaun's on the ground also laughing, like, "Oh, listen, I just gotta have a relationship, seriously. Like, this is, it's
This is
funny."
not for me.
And Ed
Yeah.
runs inside to get a Polaroid or to get a little a disposable camera to take a little picture
Yeah.
of him. It was just fantastic.
It's like
And
cheese, and he turns her head, and the whole time Sean's looking in her mouth and is like, "Oh, what's up with your teeth? Like, what the
right.
hell?"
And
Yeah.
yeah, so they get up. Shaun is like, "Hey, back up. I'm serious. I'm giving you one more warning. Back up off me." She does not, because obviously she's a zombie. He gives her a good shove. She stumbles backwards, falls backwards into the umbrella stand that we were mentioning earlier, which impales her torso.
dude,
She
impales her, puts a hole in her the
well,
size
you
of an
completely impales
arm.
her all the way through, and then she gets up, and it's an awesome shot. As she gets up, you're looking through the hole in her body that this umbrella stand has created, and you see Shaun and Ed, and they're just not. They realize that shit just got real. They're like, this is
Right.
not. She should
A-
not be getting back up.
And then when they turn, they see the bigger zombie.
Yes, much bigger zombie. They start screaming and they turn around and yeah, much bigger zombie, big large guy, and
Yeah,
so they go inside. They say, "What do
and
we
watch the
do?"
news. They
Yeah, he
watch the
said,
news.
Have a
They
sit."
try to figure out how to kill him, and they're like, man on the telly said we should stay inside." And he's like, Ed's like, "Fuck the man," and
Hmm.
and then but then the guy comes back on TV and he goes, they can be stopped by
Destroying the brain or
this
removing the head.
yeah, destroying the brain or removing the head.
Yeah.
Epic. And and so they go back out there with his collection of vinyls.
Yes.
They
So, well,
start
first they have
chucking
a
them.
whole bucket of stuff, just a whole bunch of useless stuff, and they start chucking it.
Yeah,
It's like a toaster and some plates and like a bowl and like a
not doing
big
a
wooden
thing.
spoon. Doesn't do anything. But
Yeah,
one of the
just
things
a
in
great
there,
comedic effect.
but then he finds from last night when Phil came and crashed their party, there's a vinyl record that he threw out the window. So he takes it and chucks it. It hits, I think, the male zombie in the face, and a piece of it breaks off in his face, and it obviously at least staggered him momentarily. They're like, "Cool, we just got our solution." They get a whole crate. It's this great comedic moment where they get this crate full of old records, and they're thumbing through the records as these zombies are staggering towards them, slowly, extremely slowly. But
Yeah,
they're flipping through the records, like, "Oh, which one should we throw? Which one should we not throw?" Like original Batman soundtrack, toss it. Just flings it. He's missing with like half of them and eventually yeah that doesn't work, so Shaun decides to take matters into his own hand. They had considered already going into the shed to get weapons, but the shed was locked. Shaun hurls his body through the shed doors and unlocks it the old school way, and
yeah, with bodily
grabs
harm.
a cricket bat, and Ed grabs, what does Ed grab? I forget.
Ooh, a 2x4? No, that can't be right.
No, it was,
Golf club,
maybe. Let's just listen. So Shaun grabs his trademark cricket bat. Ed gets his hands on a melee weapon as well, and
shovel,
they shovel. Yes, genius
shovel.
shovel. And they go to town on these zombies, and it's a pretty comedic shot of them just bashing and the blood in. They start off pretty tame, and they just continue
And
getting
then
more
they
and more
just keep
intense.
bashing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty funny. They go inside and again they're telling people to stay in their houses, make sure the houses are secured. I think at that point, as he's saying this on the TV, you see a zombie stumble in through the front door, which they never locked. That was another thing that then and Pete always fought about. They always left the front door just open, and apparently this meant literally open because I mean the guy didn't even. I don't even see like a handle turn. The guy literally just stumbles his way into their house. What a
yeah.
wild way to live. Um, and, and so the zombie is now, by the time they kind of realize the same thing that we already know, he's already just a few feet away from him. And I think this is the first time that you kind of see Ed go a little bit rogue because they don't know, do they scream at first, but then Ed just grabs a glass ashtray, and just palms it and smashes it onto the top of the zombie's head, kills him.
Yeah,
Pretty effective.
works
But I think this
effectively.
is the first time and just the way that after he kills it, that the Ed's just sitting there, hard breathing through his nose. I'm not gonna do it because I don't think it's gonna be a very pleasant thing for people to listen to. But the way that he's just sitting there, just hard breathing through his nose, he's like, you can tell he's like, all right, Ed's
You
probably
just ran
losing
a
it a little bit
marathon.
here. Yeah, like Ed's
Mm,
probably losing a little bit here, and I think that continues as they make a plan. They're like, all right, place is obviously not secure. These zombies already broke the window. This guy just stumbled through our front door. Let's probably get out of here. We need to get Pete and get out of here. they're trying to find out if Pete's alive. Shaun goes upstairs. Joey, I'm gonna try to hit the accelerator on this because I feel like we're already. Let's see, we're 30 minutes
30
in. We're
minutes
not
in.
even in. Yeah, we haven't even met with the other group yet. So they check to see if Pete's still alive. Sean goes upstairs to find this out the hard way that Pete is not alive. He is very naked and very dead in the shower. So he snags his keys. They hop in the car, and Ed is just super gassed to be driving Pete's car. He's always wanted to drive Pete's car, and he's driving like an absolute maniac, blasting like thrash metal, like punk rock. It's a good time. It's a great scene.
Hell yeah.
And their mission, they have a mission. Their mission is to go
Take car,
to
go to
take the
mom's,
car,
kill
go to mom's,
Phil,
kill
grab
Phil.
Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, wait for all this to
Wait for all
blow
this to
over.
blow over. Yes. Um, it's awesome, and no matter and the plan they tweaked the plan a couple times before they ultimately settle on the Winchester, but the one thing that remains constant and continues to get colder as they do the different iterations of this plan is the of
Yeah,
killing of
Philip.
Phil. Yeah, killing of Phil is like kill Philip. Like the first time you see it, he's like, "I'm so sorry, Phil." They bash him. The last time you see it, he's just like, "Sorry." It's so good. It's so good. And
Oh man.
so yeah,
But
they
but
go
that
ahead, Joe.
doesn't turn out to be as easy as you would think. When they go to stop at his parents first, they rescue Barbara, who's Sean's mom or mum,
We're coming to
and
get you,
um
Barbara.
and
That's a
they
direct
also
callback to Night of the Living Dead.
absolutely, and then
We're
they
coming
also
to
get
get you.
Philip, which doesn't turn out to be as easy as all that. He's already been bitten. Sean knows
Yeah,
he's been bitten. Puts him in the
he
car
looks pretty
anyway.
bad.
Um, and then right after that, they go straight off. Well, the funny part about that is that Ed wants to take the Jaguar, right? Let's not skip this.
Right,
He wants to take the
100%. Yeah,
Jaguar.
this is
He's
the Ed
driving.
becoming unhinged.
Yeah, he's driving his flatmate's car, Pete's, and he crashes it into a pole by the time Sean comes out of his parents' house.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, guess we got to take the Jag then." And Philip gets bit again before going in the car. They end
Real
up in
bad.
it. They go over to Sean's ex's house at this point, Liz. Um, but come on, we all know where that's going. And they kind of reconcile. They all hop in the car. And they start heading their way to Winchester. Now, not everybody is super psyched about the plan. Specifically, what's his name? David?
David's the worst.
David, yeah. Who coincidentally kind of looks like a friend of mine named David.
That's hilarious because
Which
David's a
I
great guy. Shout out David.
shout out David, yeah, but
He's
dead
nothing
ass,
like the
man.
character in the movie.
No, 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 no.
That's
But
awesome.
man, if he doesn't look like him. Um,
Yeah, a little bit, right?
so,
Yeah, he's the
uh,
worst. He's obviously in love with Liz, and he's dating
right.
Diane, and they all share a flat together, so it's kind of messed up. David's been in love with Liz since college, and she's been together with Shaun for 3 years, so he's obviously been he's been a very long jealous person.
Yeah, 100%. And, and so they're as they're all driving to the Winchester, that's when shit really hits the fan, and Philip
Yeah, Phil
starts get
turns.
talking to Sean in a really like emotional way. That's his stepdad, who he hates for his whole life, and
Yeah, he
Philip
hates him because
basically,
he said he chased him around the yard with like a bit of wood, and he always called him
yeah,
a Nancy or whatever he called him. He never thought he was like enough of a man. Do you remember Phil's like little speech? Because I remember pretty well. If you don't.
no, do it.
Well, Phil, he basically before he dies, he tells Sean, he's like, when I met you, you were 12, I believe he said. You had already grown up so much, and you had just lost your father. I thought I could be that positive role model for you, but I tried my best, but just know that, I always loved you. And he's like, and take care of your mom. and that's basically the last thing he says, and then he dies. And it's a pretty emotional moment, and Shaun, it gets the waterworks going for Shaun, because he has
Yeah.
like a real sudden realization, and then kind of loses the only father figure that he has known since he was 12, and it's a pretty emotional moment. It's one of the few like actual emotional moments in the movie, I think, other than maybe another moment later on in the Winchester, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really where it turns south, because then he turns, and again, Ed is loose cannon. Ed is really going. I think he's a good example of certain type of person that acts maybe even more wild than they normally would in this kind of high stress situation. Some people
In
react in a
dire
positive way.
situations.
Yeah, and some people just absolutely go off the deep end and lose any kind of like sense of like morality and like normalcy. And yeah, Ed's gone crazy. He's, again, he's not homicidal or anything like that, but he's
No.
playing this loud music. He's driving absolutely insane, going out of his way to hit zombies that are
He's
in the
having the
road.
time of his
He
life,
is
man.
having the time of his life. He looks like he's having a whole lot of fun. And the
He's having
Jaguar
a
is a nice,
he's
it's a
having
nice
a
Jag.
vigilante level time of his life. He's like,
He
I'm in a
is.
zombie apocalypse with my best friend.
Right.
What's
Yeah,
better
he's
than
having a great
that?
time.
Yeah.
So when Phil turns, they're all obviously in the car. They're packed in the car. You have like 8 people, 7 people inside a four-door Jaguar. It's not really, too many
Yeah,
people.
not feasible.
And so he turns. They need to get the heck out of the car. They all get out of the car, but they were in such a rush to get out and not get bit that they left their weapons in the car. So now now they're all exposed, and they have to hit the dip and kind of get into, they start basically just taking a detour, getting out of the street, and they find themselves in like a backyard essentially, right, Joe?
Well, before that, little callback to what you said earlier about like the zombies and the undead and the dead, like
Right.
or like people, regular people having like this correlation with the undead. We really see it in this moment where Phil gets locked in the car and there's heavy metal blaring, and Sean's
Good
mom
moment.
is trying to go back to the car to get him, and she's like, "No, that's not your husband anymore." And she's like, "I know you didn't like him, but," and he's like, "No, no, no, maybe he was, but like no part of him is left inside that car. It's over." And then exactly as he says that, he turns off the heavy metal that he like hates.
Yeah, he reaches forward and hits a switch, and you see like a relieved look on his like zombie face. He's like, "Ah,
Oh,
finally."
yeah,
It's so good.
$100%.
It's a great
It
moment.
really
It's a great
is.
joke.
But that does lead them, yeah, to hopping in, going through backyards, and
Yeah.
we get a little callback to Hot Fuzz, which I believe came out before.
Mm. No, I think
I might
Hot
have
Fuzz
that
came out
wrong.
after.
Maybe
Hot
Hot
Fuzz came
Fuzz
out
is the
after. I'm
callback to
not sure
Shaun of the
what this
Dead.
what this is a if it's a reference to begin with, or if they kind of started their own thing. But yeah, he goes, "What's
Right.
the matter? You never taken a shortcut before?"
Yeah, and he jumps over and it fucking
Just,
falls.
just breaks immediately as he tries to hop over this fence. It's so good.
Absolutely. Oh my
Good little bit of
god.
slapstick there. I always
Um,
love a bit of slapstick, man. I'm a sucker for some slapstick.
100%. But during this process of getting to a yard where they can access to the Winchester, um, Barbara gets bit, Sean's mom,
Yeah,
during that time. She gets
doesn't tell
separated from
anybody.
the pack for a bit. And in that time where she's separated, she gets bit by a neighbor of somebody she knew. And in the meanwhile, Shaun impales a zombie against a tree using superhuman strength. Okay, I'd
Yeah,
just like to talk about that scene for a moment because I
yeah.
watched it twice in the last 24 hours, and each time I
Uh-huh.
was like, a human being could never do what he just did. He takes a blunt pole
Yeah,
and
like a tetherball pole. So it's like it would be just sharp enough for you to twist into some soil.
yes,
And he manages to
he-
impale the zombie
impale
through
a
its
zombie
torso,
through a tree.
and then deep enough into a tree to anchor him into the tree where he can't just walk
Yeah.
out.
That's
Very
like
impressive.
Terminator level of
Very,
power.
very
What are
impressive.
we
Listen,
talking
man,
about?
adrenaline makes you do crazy stuff, you know?
I, I don't know. I'm not buying it, dude. That's the most unrealistic part of this movie, and I just had to bring it up because it really bothered me. And I was telling myself I have to bring this up.
We call that movie magic.
I call it bullshit.
Don't be a hater.
Now that brings me to something that's really realistic, and that's pretending to be a zombie in a zombie apocalypse, which is
Oh, yes. Yeah,
where
that's why
that
they make use of the impaled zombie by taking lessons from Diane. I guess Diane does some improv or something on the side. They
yeah,
never
right.
explain why she is leading the coaching here, but
She's
she's
just
coaching.
obviously into acting. I don't
Yeah, she
know.
coaches everyone on how to act like a zombie. And they're all terrible, Joey. They're all terrible except for Shaun. Shaun's is fantastic.
Shaun is fantastic.
He does like a really good, like a limp shoulder kind of. Yeah, he does a good one. Everyone else is terrible. They're really
Yeah.
not even close to being good. I'm surprised they weren't immediately attacked and all completely consumed. But it's
My
funny because
favorite
as
line in that moment is when Shaun's criticizing Ed's, and Ed's like, "Who died and made you king of the fucking zombies?" And
it's
then
pretty
he's
good.
like, "Show me yours," and he does it, and he's like, "It's pretty good, actually."
Pretty good actually,
And
yeah.
Shaun just smiles, this big smile.
That's
It's like,
awesome.
oh man,
Also, one last thing before we because that they have an awesome transition as as you're getting ready to see the whole group do their act. She goes 1, 2, 3, and then as soon as they go to let out their like zombie grunt, they're just in where they're trying to get to. It's a very nice, smooth transition. But real
right?
quick before we get to that, the whole group passes their doppelgangers on the way. Remember?
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
Shaun meets his college friend, and they run into each other before shit really starts hitting
Yvonne.
the fan. Yvonne, thank you for remembering the name. They meet up, and it is very reminiscent of real life conversations I'm sure lots of you have had with people that you went to high school with or you went to college with, and then you run into them a few years later, and maybe one of you is where you want to be, maybe one of you isn't. Regardless, it's rarely not an awkward conversation. It's usually the same kind of exchanges, like, oh, I'm glad you're doing good. I hope everything's all right. How's your girlfriend? How's your mom? All that kind of stuff, and then you kind of keep it pushing. But it's they're almost the same person, and you can kind of see it when their groups pass each other. You have Shaun and his whole group in a line, and then you have Yvonne and her whole group, and they pass each other, and they're just again just exact doppelgangers of each other, and it's a pretty funny moment, I thought.
Absolutely. You
Just
know
something
who
worth
else is in
mentioning.
that scene? The Hobbit,
The
Martin
Hobbit guy,
Freeman
yes,
himself.
Martin
Yeah, yeah,
Freeman.
yeah.
Yeah, really young Martin Freeman.
Yeah, he still looks the same though.
Pretty much. He's getting a little gray. He's getting a little gray these
Yeah,
days.
he's getting a little gray for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, listen, we're all gonna get there.
But
The and
but
so
yeah,
yeah, so
no, that
now they're acting.
yeah, and now they're walking to the Winchester. The goal is in literal sight.
Hmm.
Um,
But there's
and
so
they
many
get to
zombies.
there's
Like
so many
every
zombies. There's
extra,
a
every extra
horde.
that they hired for that movie was in that crowd of zombies. There's so many of them.
There really
And
are. Yeah, they surround the
yeah,
entire building. It looks like.
yeah, and they're
Yeah,
stumbling through and they're doing okay at first. It's actually going surprisingly well. And then the closer they get to the door, the more the
the
zombies start to
quicker
catch
they
on
kind
and
of get
the
to.
faster they start to move as well, which also kind of blows their cover. Then they get to the door, the zombies pretty much are onto them at this point, and then Ed's cell phone rings. And it's the loudest ringtone you've ever heard. The loudest, like early 2000s, little just like super loud ringtone. And he answers the phone. It's a pretty funny ongoing bit that's throughout the whole movie too. He's on the phone with, I'm pretty sure it's Shaun's coworker from his job, the 19-year-old kid, and he's on the phone the whole time. They're talking about weed. They're trying to see. He keeps calling him throughout the entire zombie apocalypse for like a day and a half, seeing if Ed has any weed for sale, and
Yeah.
it's just a funny
hmm
ongoing bit.
He's like, "Yo, are you holding?" And he's like, "No, I ain't got nothing on
Yeah,
me
he
now.
said he said I only
I've
got
got
a
nothing
Henry
but a
to sell.
Henry on me." He
Yeah,
says,
aka
"With
King Henry VIII.
I
So
had to
he's got
look
a
it
name.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
insane."
I put two and two together because I'm a bit of a historian myself.
That was pretty good.
The and so this is when Shaun and Ed kind of have a blow up, and I kind of wanted to touch on this real quick because obviously Ed should not be taking a loud ass phone call in the middle of a zombie horde when they're trying to blend in. They're almost at safety. He's risking everyone's life. And this is just another situation where Ed is messing up and he's making Shaun look like a fool and he's ruining everything and Shaun's just kind of had enough and so he kind of blows up on him. And the reason why I wanted to touch on
Also
that
the
is
wrong
because
place.
yeah, wrong place, wrong time to do this. But luckily for them, the zombies all kind of stop and just kind of watch them hash it out for a bit. But I think this is also a very real conversation that a lot of people will have at some point in their life. You have friends
Yeah,
that no matter how much you love them, they're gonna hold you back. And if you want to get to where you want to get to in life, you're gonna have to have a tough conversation with them and either set clear boundaries or just cut them off altogether. And I think that was the kind of conversation that they were having there at a terrible, terrible time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to being on one end or the other of that conversation at
Yep.
some point in their lives, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for sure.
But
You
it's
outgrow
true, man.
people.
You are who you surround yourself with to a certain extent, you know what I
Yep,
mean?
absolutely.
Absolutely. So that type of thing goes deep. But I will say, as far as like comedic moments, my favorite part in that whole exchange where Shaun is like yelling at him is that everybody like is shushing him and he looks and he turns over and he looks at the zombie horde and they're all just frozen there like staring at him in disbelief just like the
Yeah,
rest of them. And
right.
there's this one guy in particular that they kind of I feel like focus on purpose. He's like kind of a chubby black dude and
Yes, very scary
he's looking
zombie.
at him and he goes
Ah, that's
and
awesome. I didn't see the head nod.
he shakes his head no.
That's
What are you
awesome. Like,
doing, man? Like
unbelievable, this
it's
guy.
real it's so subtle, dude. I'm telling you, it I noticed it when I was a little kid. Like
That's
it's one of the
hilarious.
funniest things I've ever seen, man,
That's
cuz the
awesome.
timing cuz it's such a heavy emotional like serious scene and then it
Right.
just turns over and it's just all the zombies are motionless and there's this one zombie and he just goes
Just shaking his head in
it's like, "What's
disbelief.
wrong with you?"
Can't
Kind
believe
of
you guys. Yeah.
expression on his face, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
really gold, man. It's
So
absolutely gold.
so after that
Um,
moment, it's Shaun kind of steps up and he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna draw the crowd away. We have to do something here. Like we can't just stay here. We're
well,
sitting
David
ducks."
breaks the fucking window
David
first.
does break the window, yeah. So yeah,
Crazy.
David, yeah, he's the worst.
The
He's
worst.
absolutely the worst. Never contributes anything good in the entire movie. Um,
No.
never has any redemption whatsoever. No redeeming arc at all. He doesn't even get out a full apology before we see the last of him in this movie. It's actually pathetic. I
Yeah.
can't stand him. He
A
breaks the
lot
window by tossing a garbage can through it, and it's just so loud and obviously a giant gaping hole now in your impenetrable fortress that is the Winchester Bar. And the yeah, the horde is obviously going to follow them in if they go in through that gaping hole in the window. So Shaun basically jumps on top of like something, kind of gets all their attention, and then miraculously weaves his way through a very thick crowd of zombies and leads them away. And the rest of them wait for the zombies to clear. They go in through the window or whatever, and next time you see them, they're all in the bar. Shaun eventually makes his way back after David spends the entire time he's gone just completely bashing his leadership tactics and his his decision making. And Liz kind of sticks up for Shaun there. She kind of tells him, "Well, I don't see you doing anything better. It's like if you got a better idea, let's hear it." And he doesn't have any. He never does. This kind of person doesn't ever have anything positive to contribute. They only have negative things to add. And
right.
yeah, well, I think everyone knows somebody like that, whether it's at your job or in your family or something like that.
I could name a few.
Right. I think a lot of people could, man. I think a lot of people. I got a couple people in mind myself, brother. I really do. I'm just glad neither of us are
100%.
those kind of people, man. I try to bring positivity to every situation I can, honestly.
I am in somebody's story for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't care about their story. It's it's not getting on the pod.
It's not getting on the pod. Absolutely not.
It's not getting on the pod. It's my
No.
world. No, but 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 yeah, I think this. this is like a lot of really awesome and like fun things kind of happen within the Winchester itself.
Right.
But I think for the most part, we could kind of rush through it a little bit. Spencer, maybe edit this part out, but
Yeah. So
um,
so Sean gets back to the Winchester. He says, "Listen, I gave him the slip. I
which he
slipped back
didn't.
in through the back door. He did not give him the slip. He did not. But he says I gave him the slip. I'm back. They're all relieved to see him, and they want to try to get the power on, right? Try to get the power on. Try to get the TV on. At least get to maybe instructions on where to get to an actual safe haven. They got limited supplies here at the Winchester. They still don't really have weapons. They don't really have much food there. You can't really survive on alcohol for too long.
Beer and
Uh,
peanuts.
yeah, not great. Not a great plan. So when they get the power on, is that when Ed turns on the jukebox and the pinball machine?
So yeah, he gets the power on.
Right.
Um, the jukebox like it's quiet for a while. They have the lights on. They're just sitting there. The TV is not working.
No, they flip through channels.
They're
Everything's just no broadcast whatsoever. So Sean finally gets back. He says he gave him the slip. He did not give him the slip. He they reconvene, but they're all really happy to see him and all relieved, except for maybe David, who's still the worst, in case you guys were wondering. And
absolutely
we also, this is where we start to realize that Barbara was actually bitten. So we realize that Barbara's bitten because she's having like a heartfelt conversation with Liz, and she tells Liz, it's so nice to meet you. She gives her necklace. She goes, you guys are great together, whatever the case is. And that's when you see she has a bite on her arm that she's been covering with her sleeve and some tissue and stuff. At this moment, right at this moment, when I think they discover Barb is actually bit, Ed puts on the pinball
the
machine, and they're
jukebox.
like, "Ed, no!"
Yeah,
It's the pinball machine. He's playing the pinball machine, dude,
pinball machine.
and
Yeah,
it's so loud. It's so unbelievably loud, and you see all the zombies come to their shadows come to the front windows of the Winchester, and you David runs back. They say, David, go shut the power off. Go hit the breakers. Do something, because Sean is messed up because he just found out his mom's about to die, basically. So David goes in the back room. He's flipping all kinds of switches and basically making the Winchester look like a strobe light, just a all you can eat buffet for zombies. And now the back doors start breaking. So the zombies that were all piled up at the back door that Shaun absolutely did not give the slip. They bust through the back door. The zombies that were inside the Winchester behind doors make their way out. Now they've penetrated the interior of the Winchester. And there's this awesome scene that if anyone has ever seen this movie, it's probably one of their favorite scenes. I know it's mine, where the big bartender comes out and he's the
yes.
bar owner and he's a zombie and he
Big
goes to
Al.
attack him, Big Al. As he goes to attack them, Queen is playing on the jukebox because the jukebox turns on from him hitting all the circuit breakers, and they start whacking him as a zombie with the pool sticks to the beat
To the
of
beat.
the Queen song.
We're having a
And
good
don't
time. We're
stop me
having a
now.
good
Yeah,
time.
don't
Yeah,
stop me now. Great, incredible scene. Apparently
for sure.
the guy who played the zombie, Big Al, he was a former stuntman, and he was padded up, but he told the actors, he's like, really go to town with those pool sticks. Like, you guys got to
Whack
make it
me.
look good. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome. Just that's
that's
just a funny story that I've
incredible.
heard from behind the scenes. Yeah, he was like a former stuntman. He's like, yeah, really have at it, boys. Like, really go to
That's
town.
awesome. That's
Um,
awesome.
and so they eventually take down Big Al by shoving him into the jukebox, which stops the Queen. Which I think is also what they call jukeboxes in Britain in England. I think they call them a jukebox a Queen. So he's like, stop the Queen. He's like, turn the Queen off. And they're talking both about the band and the jukebox, I think.
And the jukebox. That's
Pretty
funny. I
good.
didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty good. But they got bigger problems again. Now the bar is being overrun. um, they haven't broken into the front yet, but somewhere in this, I think we got lost that they do discover that the gun above the bar in the Winchester is actually a real gun. And
Right. It's a
so
real Winchester.
so when Barb turns, when Sean's mom turns and dies and then quickly turns into a zombie, he he has to kill her, doesn't he? Or is it David that shoots her? I
No,
can't remember. He has to,
David makes the argument that we have to put a bullet in her now,
before she
kind
turns,
of
right?
before she turns, but she's
Right.
already dead, but she hasn't turned yet.
Yeah, he has the gun.
And
He's freaking out, right?
yeah, right. And then they're like, get into a little bit of a Mexican standoff where they're like, "You're not gonna shoot Sean's mom. I'll kill you." Da da da. And he's like, "We have to kill her." And it goes back and forth for a while. And then Liz gets involved, grabs Sean. They're holding broken beer bottles, and she's like, "Hey,
Oh
I
yeah,
know it's hard, but
they're
like."
all like holding up sharp things at each other's neck. And Ed is like, that's a good scene too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a
And
good one.
she's like, "No, like he's right, even though he's being a dick about it, but like he
Right.
is correct." Um, and he's like, "I know," and so he he swallows it and he shoots his mom. Yeah, um, which is a pretty tragic scene, I think, for Ed and Sean, because you could tell that Ed definitely knew her pretty well.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
had the hots for a little bit.
Definitely, yeah, for sure.
He makes some
Very
really funny and inappropriate comments to his mom throughout the movie.
absolutely. Yeah, it's like I would do anything.
Yeah, he's like when she first comes out of the house, they're like getting ready to hop in the Jag. She goes, "Oh my Ed, how you've grown!" He goes, "You better believe it, baby." And just just little comments like that. It's just very joyful. Um,
That's crazy.
so, but yeah, R.I.P. Barb. And so after he had Sean has to kill his mom. Obviously, emotions are still running super high. Danger is still super high, and there's still arguments. David's still making a fuss about stuff because that's just how he is. And I think Sean ends up punching him in the face because he says some slick shit after he has to shoot his mom, and it's just not the time, man. And he ends up punching him in the face, and he
Yeah,
falls on the ground right next to the gun. He picks up the gun, he points it at Sean, he pulls the trigger, nothing happens.
it's empty.
And they're like, "Wow, you just really tried to murder Shaun." And he's like, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm not staying here with you guys anymore." Like just a guy who can never admit when he's wrong. Just and then I think Diane screams at him and she like tries to talk some sense into him and he's still like backing away and he's like about to give
Back
probably
to
a
the
very
glass.
yeah, he's probably about to give a very half-hearted apology to Sean. That's what it felt like. It did seem like an apology, but I just don't have it in me to believe that it was going to be a heartfelt one. And as he's getting ready to apologize, before he can get that out, the zombies break through the glass right behind him. They pull him over the glass and into a crowd of zombies where they brutally rip apart his torso.
Rip
And
him apart. I mean,
yeah,
like
they eat all the giblets in there. They're
they
just
must have
pulling
put
them
a
out.
decent portion of the budget to that scene alone
Definitely.
because it looks
It's the goriest
really
scene.
good.
Yeah,
It
it holds
look
up
to
too.
it holds up
It
so
definitely
well.
does.
I
Yeah,
mean, it
practical
looks
effects,
like
man, they
a
usually do.
man is being ripped apart. Like it's
Shout out practical
insane
effects and any directors and producers
who
and stuff
still
that are
use
still
them.
doing practical effects. Yeah, shout out you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even mind practical effects mixed with CGI, but
100%.
yeah,
There has to
but
be some base of real debate to build off of though, or else it just looks ridiculous in my opinion. Um,
100%.
but
Like
they
a little bit of a sidetrack, but every
go
like
for it.
Disney movie nowadays, like sometimes it just feels like a couple of people talking in a room,
That's because it usually is. They're
and
talking
they
in a
could be
giant room.
outside.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
room, but it's like a multi-billion-dollar room, so you can't even afford to be in that room, Joey. You should be blessed that you get to watch movies that are all filmed in one room. You don't deserve it.
That's too much. That's too much, dude. Bob Iger, damn you. All right.
Oh man! All right, so reeling it back in. So he gets ripped to shreds. David gets absolutely ripped to shreds.
Right.
They're pulling on his legs to try to pull him back in, even though he's obviously a goner.
In half.
And the zombies yank off his arm simultaneously. His legs come off in the group's hands. Diane has a hold of one of his legs, and she's like, "David, I'm coming to get you." And so she busts out the coming to get what? First off, he's in literally in pieces. So
Well, we
coming to
never
get
find
what?
out what happens to her. I like to think that she
She
survived,
made
but
it.
there's
She
just
made it,
no
dude. She was
way.
determined. If Shaun could get through that group, she could get through that group. Especially she had a weapon, dude. She had a whole leg.
She had a whole leg. It's
Yeah, I think
true.
that leg
You
even
would
had
just
pants
let
on
him
it.
gnaw on pieces of the leg and kind of like a
Yeah,
dog, you know? You just
yeah,
drag him along. You're like, come on, come
yeah,
on,
yeah. Playing a little
come
tug of
on,
war, right? Yeah,
come on.
exactly with the leg. But she's like, yeah, I'm going to. So she busts out the front door, leaves the front door wide open. Now the zombies are really swarming in. So now, if you guys have been keeping track, we've lost just about everybody except for Liz, Ed, and Shaun. And
Yeah.
now, as the zombies swarm in, guess who's included in that zombie swarm? It's Pete the neighbor. It's Pete the flatmate. He rolls in and Ed
Yes.
can't believe it. Ed's like, yo, Shaun, look who it is. As this happens, I don't know why he's not paying attention, but he gets bit. He gets bit pretty good. And because he's got like Pete in like the headlock or something, and he gets bit on like the shoulder, and
Yeah,
then
he's
he gets
like, I
bit again.
got you.
It's looking pretty bad. Yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
again, they've used a bunch of ammo. Shaun has proven himself to be quite ineffective with that rifle. Not that anyone else in the group is any better. The place is on fire because they've thrown Molotov cocktails. And again, Ed is bitten real bad. It looks like he might just die right there. It's looking bad. Liz and Shaun dive over the bar, and they're taking refuge behind the flaming bar with zombies surrounding them.
Well, when they
And
get behind the bar, Sean then sets it on fire
yeah,
after
oh
he
yeah,
jumps behind it.
oh true,
Yeah.
okay, but yeah.
But he leaves the shotgun shells on the counter.
Yes, and so they all
Yeah,
so they
which
all
creates
go
a
off.
real tense moment where he's got a shotgun with no ammo. All the shells are literally sitting in fire. He goes up to try to grab them, which is a very moronic thing to do.
Yes.
And that's when they start popping off and they start going off in random directions.
Yeah,
And
and during this time, Ed does also vault over the bar as well. So Ed is
yes,
still alive for now, and he's with Liz and
he's just
Liz
bitten.
and Shaun behind the bar.
Yeah, he's just
And
bitten.
as the bullets go
Um,
flying out, they create an opening for them to go inside this hatch that's in the middle of the bar back area and goes down to a cellar. They say there's a keg lift. There's a lift that goes up to the street so that you could get kegs into their storage area. And
Right. Well,
they're
not
like, all
only
right,
a
so we'll go
storage
down there.
area, the lines for fun fact, just little bar talk.
Little bar
Um,
talk, little
yeah, little
bar
bar
side,
talk. Now with our new segment, bar
bar
talk.
talk.
Bar talk. So welcome to bar talk. There's the lines for the actual bar for the beer would
Yep,
run into that cellar. So that hatch should be accessible to change kegs right there on that
right.
level.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little bar talk, and that's bar talk.
It's
Um,
bar talk. That'll do it for today's section of bar talk. Brought to you by insert sponsor here. That's
Manscaped.
listen,
We're looking at you.
we still got
Um,
beards. Um, so they go down to the hatch. They have kind of an emotional moment, a pretty serious moment where they're discussing. They're like, all right, well, we don't really have a whole lot of options left. They kind of know Ed's a goner. They go, we only have two shots left. They start discussing. I don't want to get too into like suicide and stuff like that. Like even discussing the idea of suicide on our show. That's just not really something I'm super big into. But that's
right.
again they're surrounded by zombies. There's not a whole lot of options, and one of those options is being consumed horrifically by zombies. I don't think that's a great
Would you
one.
rather be eaten alive or take a bullet? Is basically what it kind
Mm,
of comes down
Pretty
to.
much right, and so it's like I wouldn't mind being eaten. And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, on second thought, I would like to be shot. I just thought that was just a funny moment. And they have another fart gag where, Shaun, he's obviously, Shaun's gonna leave with Liz. They realize there's a lift to go up to the street. Shaun's gonna go with Liz. They're gonna have to leave Ed behind. They're saying their final goodbyes, and Ed hits another I'm sorry joke. Hits Shaun with another rank fart, another I'm sorry joke. Really
And
beautiful,
then
really
Shaun is
touching.
kind of laughing, crying,
Yep,
and
yep.
he goes, it's not funny, and he says the line again, great callback. I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing.
Hmm.
And he's like, I'm not laughing, which is half true, but he is laughing, because
Right.
it's like a heartfelt moment and it's genuinely hysterical.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and that's when the zombies really start to tear through the hatch upstairs, and he goes, "You better get off." And he's like, "Okay," and he goes,
Yeah. And on their way up
and
the lift, Liz is like, "Bye, Ed, love you." He's like, "Yeah." And Sean's like, "I love you too, Ed." He's like, "Gay."
gay, yeah,
So
yeah, he's
immature, dude, till the very end. Just
to the
absolutely
very
immature. I
end.
love it. So
It's
good.
so
True to
good.
character. Um,
Um,
so they get up to the street. You want to take it from here, Joe? What happens when they get up to the street?
Huh, so they get up to the street. They're surrounded by zombies. Most of them are, entering the Winchester at this point, but there's still like a bunch of them scattered throughout. They
Hmm.
got their weapons sorted. They're about to start bashing, and that's when the British Army or their version of the National Guard, whatever, comes through and starts just laying waste to all the zombies. And you also
Finally.
find out that it was probably or very likely Yvonne that led them there, who was his old friend from school
Right.
that he walked past when they were cutting through the yards. And she's like, "Oh, this is it then?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're the only ones who survived." And
And they say that
they
she
get
says
out
the
of there.
same line. She says the same line that she said to him when they were talking and catching up and reminiscing when they just ran into each other on the street prior to the outbreak. She says, "Oh, well, I'm glad somebody made it out." And
Yeah,
that's what she says to him too. Well, I'm glad somebody made it out. And just another good
yeah.
callback. Again, this is a very well shot
Full
movie.
circle
It's a
movie.
lot of
Yeah.
full circle moments for sure. I love it. I really do. I love a bit of good closure, man. I tell you what. And
And
then
speaking of closure,
yeah, go
yeah,
for it, dude. Go for it.
yeah, man. Speaking of closure, you get like a fast forward 6 months later or something
Yeah,
like that,
yeah, six
which
months.
is no time at all. And Liz and Shaun are chilling on the couch. They're watching TV. They're cycling through the channels, and every channel is like kind of showing the aftermath of the outbreak. We see some old characters like his ex coworker, who's a zombie now, and they're great for service industry, and they're like cleaning up shopping carts and in parking lots and doing all types of
Yeah,
menial
yeah,
tasks
dude.
and
Yes,
labors.
yeah.
They're doing game shows like on syndicated television where they're trying to grab like stacks of meat on like slippery, like slip and slide type
Quality television,
surfaces.
honestly.
It's just honestly, yeah, that is something we would do for sure. It's
It would get
just it's
ratings.
so
It would make
comical.
money.
Yeah, and then we even get a little moment from the guy who goes, "Imagine being the newscaster that said, uh removing the head or destroying the brain." He goes,
Yep.
"It's brilliant."
It's brilliant.
It's real. Like this
That's
guy's still
awesome.
alive. He's still making money. He's fine.
Yeah, he's
It's
having a good
crazy.
time. Right. And
Um,
then you pan over to Sean and Liz in the flat, the same flat that Sean started with Ed, and except it's Sean and Liz on the couch now, and they're having a nice little morning together, having a little cup of tea, and they're happy. They seem happy, as happy as one can be 6 months after losing all your friends and family. And
but it also gets me to like that. What we were talking about earlier with their
Mhm.
relationship is like the whole content of that conversation they have on the couch briefly is like, is like, "What's on the plan for today?" And she goes, "I think we make tea. We go out to grab food at this place, then we go to the pub, veg out for a while, and then come back here, watch the movie, and call it a night." And he's like, sounds perfect. And it gets back to that moment of like, okay, maybe now she is ready for that type of like lifestyle that he liked, but to a more like in a more healthy state of mind. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Where
Yeah,
you
where
can
they're
be
doing things
lax.
together.
Yeah, we're doing things together and we could be lax and we could be cool. Not everything necessarily has to be a new adventure. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
We could just enjoy each other's company type of thing. And it feels like like without even going into it, they make it clear that the compromise has been made on both sides. You know,
Yeah.
the house isn't a mess, for example. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, a woman's touch goes a long way, but you know what I mean?
For sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, it's just one of those great things. And then as before he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna watch some TV." He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna pop in the garden for a little bit."
Yeah,
And I think it's one of the best closing scenes in any movie
for sure.
ever, man. Ever. If you wanna take it up.
Yeah, he says I'm gonna pop out to the garden, and Liz knows where he's going and what he's going to do, and he goes in to the shed, which has been fixed. It has a door with a lock on it again, and he sits down into the shed and it's just focusing on Shaun. He sits down and picks up a controller, hits start, and it says player two has entered the game. And then it kind of zooms out a bit and you see zombified Ed. And he lives in the shed now. He's still the homie. He's still around. He now lives in the shed. He plays video games all day. He just
Yeah.
kind of just sits there and does nothing and just waits for Shaun to be available to hang out. So literally nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has
We've learned
changed.
no lessons.
No
There is
lessons.
no moral.
Goodbye. That's the end of the podcast. No, man, it's a beautiful scene, man, because he still has got his best friend, and he reaches when he reaches over to grab the remote to like change to like turn it down or whatever,
Oh, he tries to
he
bite
tries to
him.
bite him. He's like, Ed, and he's like looks at him and he's like, oh my bad, and just kind of goes back to like, yeah,
Pressing the buttons. I'll
it's
learn
awesome.
eventually.
Yeah, it's a great scene. It just shows that, you can still have your best buddy around. It's just, things are probably going to be a little different.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, that was my takeaway
Absolutely.
from it. It's like even if you have
It's
to,
a beautiful movie. It really is because it talks about the complacency and the regular routine of life. It goes over like having to grow up and face responsibility, but at the same time, it's like it's done in a night because there's a goddamn zombie apocalypse and like you
right.
better learn quick. You know what I mean?
It gets a lot done in a short amount of time, and you see a big growth, and like a lot of characters have a pretty complete character arc. Mostly
Yeah,
Shaun. Actually,
and
mostly just Shaun now that I think about
mostly
it.
just Sean.
It's mostly just Shaun, yeah. And a little bit Liz.
Yeah, but I do think it's a great metaphor, if anything, about like just having to survive and get through adulthood, or like figure out what your place is as an
Right.
adult, kind of,
Yeah.
and like your situation in terms of like how do I deal with a relationship where it's it can't all be about me type of thing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and also how to balance like fun with responsibility, or how to balance like, parts of your life that are still somewhat immature,
Yeah,
or
considered
childish in
juvenile or
ways.
whatever. Yeah.
Right, juvenile, yeah, and like being able to have those parts of your life in the end, but not have it be the focus,
Yes.
Um, yeah, and I think that's great, man.
Yeah, me
I think we
too.
covered it pretty
Uh,
well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think just to kind of put a bow on it here. I mean, we both absolutely love this movie. It's a classic. It's not just like a cult classic. I really think this is a real classic film. It was
Yeah.
released at a time where there wasn't really a huge zombie craze like there is nowadays with 17 seasons of The Walking Dead. Even though I like that show and I like some of the spin-offs too. Even I watch them with my fiance. We're enjoyers. But
Right.
this is one of the original like mid early thousands major cultural impactful movies of zombie films, and so there's a lot of love for this movie is
and
just what
comedy,
and
honestly.
comedy. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Simon Pegg, it was the really the launch, I think, of Simon Pegg's like commercial mainstream career, and his co-star too, who plays Ed, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It sounds like Joey might be helping me out to pull it up there. Um, that would be tremendous. I told him he needs to get a more quiet
Nick
keyboard.
Frost.
Nick Frost, yes, they
Nick
and
Frost.
we absolutely love them in Hot Fuzz. We will do that movie somewhere down the road. It's going to be a little bit further down, but we love that movie, so we'll cover that one too. I got no problem with that.
Absolutely. I might
So,
like that movie more than
yeah,
Shaun of the Dead, and I
yeah,
really like Shaun of the Dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm super psyched for that.
And
But I
and you know
also
what?
go for it, Joe.
Yeah, no. Oh, okay. So something Simon Pegg said recently actually really got me like just like made a lot of sense to me and like something I agree with. I like constant sequels as much as the next guy, you know, your 17 Harry Potters, your 18 Lord of the Rings, etc. and so forth.
Right.
Um but somebody asked him about like, you know, making a Shaun of the Dead sequel or a Hot Fuzz sequel or something like that in that world. And he was like, and he just had no interest. And he was like, "No, man, they're original stories. They exist in their realm for a reason. Like they're
Right.
good standalones. You don't sully it with a sequel.
Right.
And like, where would those stories go? You got to get over it. It's a 20-year-old movie, and like,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think like if more people in Hollywood had that mentality, we would see a lot more original ideas,
Yeah.
and
We'd be in a way better place.
in a way better place, yeah, in terms of entertainment and you know, yeah, and I think entertainment has a lot of power too. It can create a lot of parallels to real life. It can be a mirror of sorts. It can be a predictor of future trends. You know,
Yeah.
it's entertainment is a powerful tool, and I think when you have original thinkers like that, like the more the merrier.
Absolutely.
And obviously a lot of what we cover on this channel or plan on covering is like, a lot of the more like corporatized type of like stories, superheroes and things like that. But but I think the characters and the ideals of those stories speak pretty loudly. Like your Batmans, your Spider-Mans, like there's still a lot there to be explored. You just need original storytellers to tell them, even in
Absolutely.
those worlds.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, like, we've seen franchises get stale. We've seen franchises come back, and sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But, as long as original stories can keep being told, I mean, you know, uh, I think that's great. Like Star Wars is a great example. Not to get too offbeat. I'm sure we'll cover a lot of Star Wars, but you have things that feel very neutered almost. Like the Mandalorian movie is coming out. Book of Boba Fett is basically the Mandalorian 2.0. And you have all these things kind of coming out, flooding the market. But then at the same time, during this flooded market, you have something like Andor come out and season two, which I think is some of the most powerful piece of television I've ever seen in my life, and a huge critique on fascism. And it's like that's an original story by an original creator in a world that is overpopulated with content. You know what
Right.
I mean? But
Right.
it's still good. It's still really good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think you can have your cake and eat it too, but we need more people with that mindset
For sure.
in the industry for sure.
Well said.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, I approve that, man. And I'm psyched. I'm psyched to get into more, uh, a couple more scary movies, man. I'm gonna get Joey into watching scary movies a little bit. We're gonna dip his toes in the water with stuff like Shaun of the Dead, and we're gonna pivot to some more serious stuff because, dude, I'm telling you, there's so many scary. Listen, you like The Exorcist. This guy will watch The Exorcist, but he probably won't watch like Insidious, which is just acid. It's just crazy to me. It's just mind blowing.
Because
Um,
the Exorcist is a perfect movie. You
it's
can't take a
it's a great
line
movie.
out of that movie
It's a great movie.
without ruining it.
It's a great movie. But this Halloween, we're still kind of getting into the speed of things. Again, much love to anybody supporting our new podcast. We appreciate you guys and thank you for making it this far. and I'm excited to try to get into some more stuff like this. Maybe next Halloween we can do like a whole month of scary movies and explore those because
Right.
they really do have some great themes and storytelling and content in them too. They're not to be slept on, in my opinion. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
so we're
I'm open
excited to
to
get
it.
into that. For now, I think that just about does it for Shaun of the Dead. I think we're ready to transition over to some categories.
That's right, man.
All
It's
right, let's
time.
get into some categories, man.
I hope you got your questions ready
I do. I do.
because I bought mine at Google.
You bought yours at Google?
That's right.
That's crazy. That's how much it cost you. 350?
Tree video.
350.
Goddamn lock that popular.
We're gonna have to make a no eating ice rule on the podcast as well, sir, just so you know.
It's there's struggle puffs.
Don't care what you call them. It's crunchy loud. Let's get into some
It's fair.
categories. We're gonna get into some categories. You want to lead off, buddy, or you want me to take the lead on the categories?
You take the lead.
All right.
You take the
So,
lead.
first question, pretty straightforward one. In this movie, we don't see a whole lot of gunplay. You just see the one gun in the Winchester. This is London. They don't really have a lot of guns. They have melee weapons. So, in the zombie apocalypse, what is your melee weapon of choice? Anything you can get your hands on, anything within the realm of possibility. We're not talking any like Dead Rising-esque combination, electroshock guitar
You're
machine
telling me I
things
can't
here.
combine a lawnmower with like an electric cable seesaw type motor action?
No, no, something that's real, something that you can just go and acquire. That's one thing.
Okay. I'm all right. So here's my thought process behind it. You don't want something blunt because you got to be pretty strong to be caving in heads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially a fresh zombie. Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm going sharp. Um, if I had to pick something, man, I think I'm going pickaxe.
A pickaxe.
A pickaxe. Yeah. Yeah. Because you got
What are
the
you, a
pointed.
miner? A coal miner?
Well, listen. Here's my thought process.
Let
Right,
me hear your thought
you're
process on this one.
you're in London, so they don't have like you're not gonna get any machetes. They have like they treat like swords and stuff like guns over there. You
You
know,
can
so
still
you
get a machete, dude. That was never that was never put in the rules that you couldn't get an actual weapon.
it's too difficult. It's
They
too
have antique
difficult.
shops. You think they
You're
don't have
not gonna
antiques?
find
All the
a
museums that
sword.
they have, all the things that they've stolen from all
Listen,
across the planet and put in their museums,
these
you don't think they
dirty
have weapons?
commies don't believe in deadly weapons, okay? And so I'm
They're not
taking a
commies. They're not
pickaxe.
commies. But all
Don't
right.
tell me. Don't
Oh,
tell me
dude,
what.
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. I'm gonna tell you. I don't want to. I don't want to ruin your plans, Joey. And I want you to survive the zombie apocalypse. That's why I just need to tell you, like the first zombie with like a real thick skull, you're gonna get a real good shot in, and you're not gonna be able to get that fucker out. I'm telling you, you're gonna have a hard time getting the pickaxe out. You're gonna get it stuck in something,
No,
and then
because
you're
the
gonna be in trouble.
hole you make is gonna be big. And
I
then
don't
it's
like your
gonna be
strategy
all
here.
wet. It's gonna
When you said I
slide
was
right
going
out.
in sharp, like a pickaxe isn't even particularly sharp. It's like a pointed
The
end blunt
pointy end
weapon.
is.
Oh, Joey, I don't like
It's the
this
best of
idea.
both worlds.
I
It's
don't
heavy
know.
handed
Oh
and
my
and
God.
it's
I'm gonna
pokey.
have to keep a close eye on you. I'm gonna have to
And
protect
it's
you like
pokey.
your Ed, dude, because I don't know what I'm gonna do with you in this zombie apocalypse. You're gonna be part of my group. I got you, brother. But well, Lord Almighty, this guy walking around with a pickaxe, probably too heavy for him to even swing. He's got to throw out his shoulder and be like, "Oh, my rotator cuff's no good. Can you?"
can, can you lend me your cricket bat?
Like, no, you should
Sean,
have taken a cricket bat from the beginning. I told you the pickaxe was a bad idea.
I'm taking the pickaxe, dude. I'm
All
going
right,
coal
dude.
miner all the way. I'm gonna get
All
me
right,
some
dude.
gloves so that I don't get blisters.
Now you need equipment to be able to use your weapon. This is such a bad idea, dude. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna make mine quick because oh my Lord. Oh man, I'm going with a battle axe, man. I'm going with a double-ended battle axe, two
Where are you
blades on
getting a
each side.
battle axe in London?
Literally any museum, Joey. Any museum. Just walk in. They
Okay,
have museums all over the place. They literally spend in humanity's history collecting all the awesome things from around the planet and saying that this is ours now.
damn.
They're gonna
I
have
didn't
battle
think about
axes.
that. That was good.
Yes, they're
Okay.
gonna have battle, and a battle axe is it's got two sharp blades, and it also has a blunt action. If you want to jab them in the grill with that, you could do that too. So you don't have to use the blade necessarily.
You know what you're gonna
Um,
need to get into the museum, though, right?
Big rock to
Me
break the
with my
glass.
pickaxe.
That's fair. That would probably also work. That
Yeah.
would probably also work. I'd probably also just take a lump of coal that we found in the mine that you found those friggin' pickaxes in, just lump, toss some coal through the window. I think that would probably work.
God damn
And
it.
actually, while you're down there in the mines, you want to grab one of those helmets with the little lanterns on them. Those could probably come in handy, actually.
I think they would.
They would. They actually
They
would.
would, along with the gloves.
Maybe we just live in the mines.
We're coal people now.
So
All
speaking
right.
of, I'm gonna hit you with one more because we're talking about where we're gonna hold up. So if a zombie apocalypse breaks out in your hometown, where you know where you're from very familiar land, you know the structure, the strong structures and everything, you know where you're gonna be comfortable. Where are you gonna hold up, man?
Man, that's hard.
It is.
Where am I gonna hold up? I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest with you, dude. I think GameStop. So there's a GameStop by my house right there. The only storefront I know in my neighborhood that has a gate you can close and lock. The
What?
building's made out of yeah, the building's made out of like, concrete and clay.
Okay.
Nobody's getting in. There's only a back entrance to the back door. It's facing a highway. So you're not seeing a lot of people, you know.
Okay.
Well, big empty parking lot next to a highway in front of an abandoned store.
Is this the
So,
one in the strip mall?
yeah,
All right. I guess you got some other resources in the strip mall. It's gonna be a little risky
right.
navigating, going into each store to gather resources, but
Going in and out, but once you're locked back inside the GameStop, you're good.
yeah.
You're
Oh, you're
totally
talking about the
good.
gate that comes down in front of the glass doors in
Yes.
front. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's keeping out a whole zombie horde though?
I think so. I think it
Yeah.
is. I think so.
Do you think
Yeah,
movies overestimate the strength of like a large group of zombies pressing up against like a gate or fence? Because I think they did.
um it depends. Sometimes, yeah. Like glass, like we see in Shaun of the Dead. No, dude, a
Hmm.
horde of regular people are breaking that glass.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh
I've seen a drunk girl stumble into a and bump her shoulder into a glass at a bar and shattered the whole thing like a enormous glass.
yeah, but those steel
Good
gates
times.
are pretty sturdy. They could take like thousands and thousands of pounds of force, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
unless it
And you
malfunctions,
got
I
all your
don't see there
entertainment
being
right
an
there.
issue.
You got built-in entertainment.
Built-in entertainment, video game systems, TVs, like
Yeah.
recently
That's pretty good.
Pokemon cards for some reason.
Right. That's pretty
I
good,
think,
man.
yeah, I think I'm
So
taking that.
mine, I think I'm gonna go with so I this is one I thought about a lot when I was younger because I was always been into like zombie games and zombie movies and stuff. And my go-to answer, which I really can't think of a better one at the moment, would be a school. Like a large like a school. It really wouldn't matter to me whether it was a high school, middle school, or like even elementary school, as long as it was empty when the outbreak happened. I don't want to have to clear out the school of a bunch of infected kids. That's definitely not something I want to do. But if school was
No,
out when the outbreak happened and there's no kids at the school, that's golden, dude. You have entertainment, you have education, you have resources like food. Their cafeteria is going to have a massive amount of food. You're going to have to stockpile enough food to feed hundreds of kids for, I'm sure they have at least a week worth of food for hundreds of kids stored in their freezers and stuff.
right, yeah, and
You
non-perishables too.
yeah, and depending on what school I would choose, I mean, when I was young, it was always my elementary school. It's on a very flat, large plain of land. There's only a
Right,
few entrances and exits, and you can see all your surroundings and like from pretty far out. So
right,
nobody's really going to sneak up on you.
and the schools where in our state where we grew up, which is Jersey, like they're all old, so they're all made out of like concrete and brick and you know, their thick, heavy steel doors, like they look more like
100%.
prisons and schools. I gotta be
Yeah,
real with you. Yeah,
absolutely.
you're pretty locked down in there. I would say a hundred
Well, yeah.
percent.
Well, in New Jersey and New York, they used to like chain the doors closed because kids would skip out of schools, and then that was the thing until there
Yeah,
was like a fire and a bunch of people didn't make it, and then they couldn't chain the doors closed anymore. So that's probably for the best. I
damn
don't know if that
kids.
was a necessary off track there, but I don't. That's just that was a thing that happened. I mean, look it up. They were locking kids inside the school. Like, no, you cannot leave.
Yeah, dude. East Side Patterson.
Yeah, man.
For sure. All right. So this brings us to my category questions.
Go for it.
I got two for us here. Um,
Hit me, brother.
if you had to survive a zombie apocalypse like the one we see in Shaun of the Dead, but you could only pick one person out of the main characters that we see, who would you pick to survive with?
Ooh, that's tough. Does it?
You got,
Um,
so in the movie, what do they have? They have like a solid 24 hours. You got to
yeah.
survive 24 hours in a heavy zombie apocalypse
You
with
know,
one
to
of
be
these
honest with you,
characters.
man, it's really not that tough. It's Sean all the way. It's Sean 100%. Sean is the only one that's
Okay.
capable of really anything except for maybe like Lizzie. Everyone else is kind of just like a giant weight that Sean is carrying on his back. To be just very blunt, I don't think anyone else really provides much value other than Ed with comedic value, and that's not what I'm looking for in the 24-hour zombie survival situation. Just not. I
Right.
could probably live for 24 hours without comedy, but I need somebody to watch my back who could handle a cricket bat and bash zombies with some kind of efficiency, and that's Sean all the way, brother. How about you?
My answer may surprise you.
What do you got?
I'm taking David.
Why? Because he's gonna
I'm
annoy
taking.
everybody, all the zombies away from you?
No, man. He's easy to control. He gets lippy. You punch him. You make sure he doesn't have a gun. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
All right.
Yeah.
He gets lippy, you
And
punch him. I like that.
he wears glasses. Guy's got to be smart. He's got to know something. I feel like we haven't seen his true potential. I'm willing to crack that code. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I
And
don't
at
know.
the
He doesn't
worst,
seem
if it
smart.
lasts longer than 24 hours and I don't have food, I'll just kill him and eat him.
Oh my God.
I mean, you know, I could take a guy like that. There's no problem.
Listen, any other character, I would have had a huge problem with that last part.
I'm
But it's
just
like
saying,
David
dude.
seems pretty yummy because I mean the zombies ate him extremely fast. They
He's
so
lean.
yeah,
He's
he's
lean.
he's he's lean,
He's cooking like
100%.
a filet mignon.
Absolutely. That's crazy. That's wild.
Mm.
That's what diabolical work. David is an interesting person to choose as your survival buddy because I just feel like he's gonna throw you to the wolves or to the zombies the first chance he gets.
I could throw him much quicker.
Speaking of wolves and zombies, wolves are fast, zombies are slow, or are they? Joey, when you imagine a zombie apocalypse, do you think of zombies being fast or slow zombies? You like that
That was a
transition right
great
there? A little
segue,
segue?
dude.
Thank
Shout out
you.
to you.
Thank you.
That was great. What the fuck? I think I think I'm going slow zombies, man.
That's what I imagine too, man. I don't
I think I'm
think
going
of
slow
fast
zombies.
zombies.
I mean, listen, like the movies got you fooled, man. That's zombie propaganda. That's a big zombie for you.
Right.
They got you thinking that these slow zombies they're gonna show up like Jason, you know, from Friday the 13th. Just 1 second they're not there. Next second they're there. Like, no, you're gonna see that motherfucker coming. You're gonna hear him. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. They sound like
Yeah.
they're in constant pain. That's they're. I'm fat. Like I'll get away. You know what I mean? Like
Right. And that's kind
that's
of why I feel like a slow zombie apocalypse would be better suited for a man of my stature, if you say. I just don't
yeah.
a zombie chasing after you like a 28 days later kind of zombie where they're infected, they're infected with a rage virus. Well, then how come they don't die? How come they don't get tired? They just can chase me forever and they're just not going to get tired. They're just going to keep chasing me. That's not fair. I don't like that at
That's not
all.
fair.
No, I
I
don't
don't
like
like
that at
that.
all. So that's
Yeah.
why I would, I don't want to find myself in the fast zombie apocalypse at all. That would really change my my whole survival plan too. I don't know that I would want to build some kind of school fortress if I have fast zombies that can just blow through the
No,
place at any time.
I want a moving tank
Literally, or like a
with a
boat,
built-in toilet, like
like
a
a
boat.
yacht.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a
Oh
yacht.
man, yeah, that's fast zombies. They get your blood pumping though, man. When you watch those movies where they're getting chased by a sprinting, ravenous
Or
zombie,
you ever play Dying Light?
not a whole lot because watching you play was enough for me to say no, thank you.
Dude, that game is intense. And then
I
at
remember.
nighttime, they're full on 28 days later, like sprinting at you. Sprints. Uh, uh, I mean, it's brutal, man. I don't think I could survive that. This dude it's a video game, but he's climbing buildings, he's doing parkour.
Oh yeah, he's
He's
a
still
parkour
having
champion.
problems. He's
Yeah,
still having problems.
if it's not if it wasn't a zombie apocalypse, that guy would be a parkour champion, nor no doubt. And yeah, he still can barely outrun the super infected that come after you at night. That game is
Yeah.
terrifying. I remember watching you play it, and I remember watching you play the nighttime scene where you're getting chased, and I'm like, well, why don't you just like shoot him or fight back? You're like, no, not an option, not an option. Can't shoot him, don't have a gun, can't fight back. They're strong. They kill you in one hit. Like they're just and
Yeah.
the thing that gave me anxiety is it's so dark, dude. And you're sprinting for your life,
Yes.
and you have a stamina meter which drains as you sprint, it drains as you jump and climb, and you
Yeah.
on your map you can see constantly the position of these
Just
monsters,
hordes.
and they're all closing in on you. And it seems like no matter how efficient you run your path for escape, they're still closing in on you. That gives me anxiety, dude. I don't like that, bro.
They're
I don't.
very fast. The trick is a little bit of a sidebar, but the trick is to that game is that before you do any mission at night that you know you have to do at night,
Mm.
you travel that path during the day and you set up traps for the
Ah.
zombies. And you could turn them on so that you can just kind of breeze through it. But
That's pretty
it's
cool.
very difficult. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
but
bet that's
anyway.
probably a cheese strat too. I bet you they weren't even intending on you for a play like that.
No, probably
That's
not.
definitely
But
a
yeah,
cheese strat, but I like
I,
it.
I set it up heavily.
That's
Um,
awesome.
all right, so
Did you have another
that
category
does.
question?
I got one more. Yeah,
Oh, cool. I
it's
got one more
slightly
as well.
similar, but it's got different. I guess like things to consider.
Okay.
If you had to pick a type of zombie apocalypse to live through, um, for the rest of your life, are you going? You got three options: biblical, right? Like Dawn of the Dead style.
Uh,
You got chemical, Resident Evil, 28 Days Later, I Am Legend,
okay.
you know? And you got fungal, Last of Us.
Oof. Those all seem pretty terrible. Um,
Yeah.
I would probably opt to go with chemical because that seems like the only one in which what I definitely don't want is to have a Walking Dead situation where no matter how you die or when you die, you will come back as a walker if your brain's not destroyed. I don't like that. I don't want to be in that kind of universe because then literally
Mm,
it's not only am I concerned about coming back as an infected, but everyone who dies ever you have to worry about turning and killing you. If your grandma
yeah.
dies in her sleep peacefully and nobody knows, she might come back in the middle of the night and kill your whole family. That's messed up.
Yeah. That sounds
Uh,
horrible.
that sounds terrible. So I'm thinking,
If your
I really
grandma
think
dies in the middle of her sleep.
yeah, peacefully. That's
Yeah.
how most people want to go. That's an ideal way to go in a zombie apocalypse. You can't ask for much more than that. You know,
Well, yeah.
but then the problem is you come back, they don't stay dead. That's the problem.
That
Uh,
is the problem.
so I probably have to go Resident Evil, like something like that, where it's a chemical outbreak. If I'm not bit and I'm not like inhaling some kind of, or some kind of test subject for one of the twisted doctors of Umbrella Corps, then I'll I got a chance. I'm not gonna say I'll be fine. I don't feel confident enough to say that, but there's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance. What about you?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, I think I agree, man. I think I agree. Because if you go biblical, you get that anybody dies, they get turned thing going on. You
Right.
get,
And
you
like the
know what I
dead
mean? You
start coming
have
back to life, like people who've
graveyards.
already been dead.
Right,
Yeah,
graveyards of any body that's remotely put together coming back, rising out of the dead. I'm not with that.
not good.
If you go fungal, man, you go Last of Us, you're talking spores in the air. If you don't have like a built-in immunity or something, forget the Last of Us. You Everybody's done. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Everybody. There's no society. It's over, man.
for
Game
sure.
over. We're
Game
all
over for
fungus
me.
now. Yeah. Um, and I think I gotta go chemical, man, because at the very least, there's some kind of semblance or a hope of a cure one day,
Yeah,
maybe, if not me, my children or something.
right.
You know, there's different types of societies scattered around, kind of reforging humanity from the ashes. And then, you have these zombie hordes as kind of like um, just something you have to deal with, but it's still something that has more hope than the other options. The other options are hopeless. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
Right.
and chemicals are man made. So
Yeah,
I'm going chemical without a doubt. Without a
right
doubt.
on. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the only logical decision. And that brings us to our last question, man. If you were in a situation like that and you have a survivor group, this group is limited to 6 people, just like Shaun had when he was, traveling to the Winchester. He had 6 people in his group, including himself.
Okay.
So if you had a group of 6 people, including yourself, what skills would you like those other 5 people to have so that to ensure your survival?
Ooh. Okay. So I don't know what my skill would be. I'm so far, that's what
Podcasting?
I'm talking. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm that good at it yet. But but if I had to go with that, I need somebody who can forage. You know, just an
Right.
excellent forager, some hippie fucker in moccasins, just picking grapes and stuff. I need
Right,
one
or
of those.
like a naturalist. You want like a nature lover kind of person. Like I'm picturing like
Yeah,
a park ranger.
right. Yeah,
If
but
you
then
want,
you
we could
also
also work
need.
together to build this team. We could work together to build this team since we're gonna be in our own group either way. I'm not gonna have a survivor group without you, brother.
Okay, hell yeah. I'm with that. I'm with that.
So
So we
so
got
yeah, we need one. Who are you
we
just
got
talking
four
about?
people. So we got a
The
forager.
Yeah, like I'm picturing like a park ranger, dude. Like imagine how like efficient someone like who's like a national park like forest ranger would be. He would know so many different things about like different
It's true.
wildlife, like animals that you'd have to be careful of and which ones you can eat, what plants you can eat and you can't, what berries, like they would know all that stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
that's
valuable
true.
person. We need to get ourselves a park ranger. All right, park ranger check. And we can cook. We both know how to cook. Like that's fine. We don't need a
Yeah.
chef.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
need a chef.
No, not at all.
I'd probably like an arms specialist, like someone who's really good
I
with guns and
agree. A gun
explosives.
nut.
Yeah, because let's be honest, we're not gonna ever be in a zombie apocalypse in London. We'll be in America. That's where we live. We live on the greatest country on earth, and I wouldn't be anywhere else if it was going to hell.
We need guns.
We need guns. We're gonna have guns, and
We
that's
need
one of the
guns.
main reasons why I want to be in America is for the guns.
Yeah,
More guns
for
than people.
sure.
And wow,
Yeah, hell
what a
yeah.
place.
Amen.
Oh man,
Amen.
yeah.
No
The
zombie apocalypse here.
exactly. So
Just
yeah,
40
definitely
dudes
like a gun
drinking
specialist.
moonshine.
I'm looking for like a former U.S. Navy SEAL or like demolition specialist or like heavy
Marine
gunner,
Corps.
something like that.
Yeah,
Someone who has extensive knowledge of explosives and weaponry and yeah, and how to defend a position like military knowledge. Yeah, like a sergeant or something. That would be very useful.
absolutely. 100%. I'm also looking for somebody who has skill at two things, kind of. One being stealthy,
Okay.
right? And small, able to fit into tight spaces, things like that.
Okay.
And also able to honeypot.
So we're looking for like a female ninja.
We're looking for like a female ninja spy type situation. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
They've got to
Absolutely.
be around, surely.
They're around. They're
Do
around.
you
Those are the
think that
people
if
that
we just
survive
went
these
to
types
like
of
a
things.
Comic-Con and tried to find like an anime cosplayer that we could train her to be actually useful?
No.
No, I didn't think so. So you're saying we gotta get one that's like actually like a genuine trained ninja. Is that gonna be a problem in America? Are we rife with ninjas these days?
No, no, I
No,
wouldn't
right?
say rife. And even if we were, you wouldn't know where to find them because, you know,
Yeah, much like
they're
John Cena.
ninjas. Yeah, they're much like John Cena. But no, yeah, I would need somebody compact and stealthy at the very least, for sure. And
Right.
preferably female because we can't just have all dudes up in here.
Um, all right,
All
so
right.
buddy, we got who do we got? We got a forest ranger. We got me and you. That's two people. We got a forest ranger and we got a freaking U.S. Navy SEAL or whatever. And we got two more spots. I mean, I guess we got our ninja. That's number five. Who are we
Yeah.
going for number six, man? That's the last one. I think we got our defenses down. We got our defenses. We got food and probably access to
Yeah.
water too. Um, and I don't want to get into like the weird territory of like how are we gonna like keep the human race going. That's not our objective here. We're just
No.
trying to survive. We're just trying to
No.
survive. That's literally all. That's literally
Yeah.
all. Don't be weird. Don't make it weird.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
do that. Stop it. So so I just feel
Yeah,
like we
but you
need
can't
someone
just have
valuable.
one. You can't just have one girl because then it does get weird.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I don't want
Last
to
person
have
also
to. I
has.
don't want to. I don't think we need to do like a. I don't think we need to have like a minimum and maximum for our genders here. I think we could just like
I would
just
say
go with
you got
whatever
to do
works.
all dudes or two women in the group.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
All right. Well, the good thing about ninjas, they're generally small, regardless of their male or female. So we're going with a male
that's true.
ninja. We're gonna stay with an
All
all
right,
male crew, dude. I don't want to muddy the waters here. I don't want to
man.
muddy the waters at all.
All male crew.
Um,
Things can get spicy. I'm cool with that.
are we
Um,
are we okay with using our last slot for like some entertainment? Like, even like back in the day,
like a
people used to
clown.
roll like not like a clown, more like a um I'm thinking The Witcher, I'm thinking
A
uh
magician.
no, 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 no. The guy who plays the guitar,
Oh, a
the lute, he
bard.
sings a bard. I'm thinking like a bard.
I'll take a bard.
Do you think having a bard would be valuable?
Yeah, dude.
I think so, right?
They
Like
they bring up
I'm
the
not gonna learn how to
morale.
play guitar. If I learned how to play
No,
guitar before the world went to
they
shit, you
bring
think I'm
up
gonna
the
learn how to play
morale. What
guitar after?
happens? What happens when the satellites go down and now we have no music
Right. And who's gonna sing about our triumphs?
and our tribulations?
Exactly.
I'll take a bard. I'll take a bard type.
All right, sick, dude. So
Also,
that's
then women won't be a problem because anywhere we go where there's survivors, we'll have our bard with us,
the
wingmanning,
bard will serenade them.
wingmanning it up.
Yes. Tremendous.
Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah,
like
man.
that.
All
I
right,
think we
cool.
did good.
So we got me and you, easily the two most useless out of the group. We have a park ranger with survival skills. We have some
A
sort of
gun nut.
high-ranking military guy who knows, guns and explosives. We have a ninja, and we have a bard. I really think that's a pretty solid group. I do.
I think it's a solid group, but I do think what's going to happen in this situation is they're eventually going to kill us.
Maybe. We're gonna
Yeah,
have to make
dude.
sure that this gun nut is also a bit submissive, because I really feel like he's gonna be the troublemaker in the group. He's gonna want to be authority just because he's military.
100%. Yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
I
yeah.
passed the ASVAB. I could have been a sergeant.
I think we should. We got to shoot him in the foot.
Yeah, give him a little gimp, right, and give him a little cripple.
Yeah,
Give a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit of a handicap so that he
And
can't
don't
just
you look
break
me
our necks.
again.
You think someone could still snap your neck if you shot him in the foot?
Yeah, if they could stumble over to me.
That's true. They'd have to stumble pretty quick. At that point, they know
That's
better than the zombies.
Plus, I got a second shot.
Shit.
Um,
Double tap always. Zombieland
double-
taught us that.
That's right.
Well,
But yeah, I think that wraps it up for categories, man. It
yeah,
wraps it
man.
up for Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, man, that'll do it. That was a good conversation on a really beloved movie to us. Again, looking forward to doing some more, spooky kind of movies, for especially while we're in Halloween. If we can get another one in, we'd love to. If you guys have any
Spooky
suggestions, reach
season.
out. If someone reaches out to us with an actual suggestion, and it's not just like one of our friends or family, we will record another spooky Halloween episode before the end of the month and put it out. Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Hit us up
Guaranteed, for
on
sure.
YouTube, and you can hit us up on our email as well. Send in any questions or requests directly to our email. It's at geeksandgovernance@gmail.com. Guys, again, thank you so much for listening. I've been
We
Jordan.
appreciate it. I'm Joe,
Till next time, folks.
and this is Geeks and Governance.
Geeks and Governance signing off.